A decade-long period reflects what some may call an economic game of chess between foreign currencies. My currency pair, US dollar to Chinese yuan, show a currency pair that will represent the number of units of Chinese yuan to exchange for one US dollar. The US dollar is the base currency, and yuan is the quote currency. The United States is known for being the world's largest economy, serving as central bank's primary reserve currency and global intermediary for the foreign exchange market. On the other hand, China stands as the second largest economy in the world and first largest exporter. However, its role as a reserve currency takes up only about 2% of all central bank reserves, behind the US dollar, euro, and Japanese yen. Since my currency pair is quoted as an indirect quote, my reading for appreciation and depreciation trends will correlate with the indirect quote to the Chinese yuan. That is, when the trend line of the graph is ascending, I will say the Chinese yuan is depreciating or weakening against the US dollar. The overall trend line across the decade shows an 18% depreciation of the Chinese yuan against the dollar. But let's look at some of the currency's highs and lows leading us through the timeline. The pair seems to trend with multiple matching shifts and steep declines, but here are the major ones. The Chinese yuan was at its strongest in the decade at the very beginning of 2014. It only took 6.02 yuan to purchase $1. Things like CBDC, central bank digital currencies, or China's version of the digital yuan, was introduced and backed by the People's Bank of China, PBOC, in 2014. Following this high came a period of volatile depreciation of yuan until it reached a turning point in 2017, having weakened to 6.99 yuan to the dollar. Yuan appreciated to around 6.26 by mid-2018 and sharply back down to 6.96 by October 2018, a short appreciation period, and 7.18 in September 2019. This meant it was only costing more Chinese yuan to buy the equivalent of one US dollar. The yuan depreciated through COVID-19's most prominent months, but experienced significant strengthening over the next year to year and a half, reaching its peak at 6.32 yuan in 2022. Another steep depreciation to around 7.27 in late 2022 and reaching its weakest point at 7.36 on the opposite end of the decade in 2023. Yuan settled at about 7.13 in the beginning of 2024. Next time, I'll be examining the global and economic forces that drove these dramatic and pivotal shifts in the USD Chinese yuan. Thank you.